Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Now, if this is your very first time here, my name's FiddlinJonny and it's my fiddle channel and magic product review. And today we're doing a magic product review, but before we do any magic product review, we always do a quick fiddle tune. So let's get the fiddle tune out of the way and get into this review today. All right, there you are. Will the circle be unbroken? I sort of thought of that tune as it's related to this around chaos. And if that circle gets broken, you have chaos. This release is called The King of Chaos, The Ultimate Triumph. It's got Danny Day Ortiz on it. It's got Too Strange, and it has Andost on it, released through Hanson Chin Productions. Anyway, this is a very interesting Triumph. Stick around. We'll get right into it and see if this is right for you. All right, let's just go ahead and get into this. The Ultimate Triumph by Too Strange, Andost, and Danny Day Ortiz. All right, what is this? Tell you what, I'm just going to put in a quick demo of it right here for you so you can see what one of the versions looks like. As magicians, we all know how much we love a sense of symmetry. When we pull that deck of cards out of our tuck case, we love to see that all of our cards are in order so that we can perform. And as we begin to perform, we then often will include our spectator as part of our work. Again, we'll show as we hand them the cards, without even having to say anything, that there is an order to everything. But of course, we know oftentimes if we ask a spectator to shuffle, that they're not always the best shufflers, and they may cut cards and inadvertently shuffle face-up cards into face-down cards. And once they have done that, there's no longer a sense of order. Suddenly we have chaos. We have face-up cards, face-down cards, face-up, face-down, face-up, face-down cards. And this has now destroyed that symmetry in which we love. The beauty of being a magician is all we have to do is square those cards up nicely. Wait a second, snap our fingers, and bring all those cards back to the symmetry and order that we magicians love and enjoy. And for us magicians, that really is an ultimate triumph. All right, I hope that was really helpful for you. It's basically a triumph routine. Now, if you don't know what a triumph routine or effect is, essentially you are taking cards from I should say a shuffle deck, doesn't matter whether it's shuffled or unshuffled, but basically you're going to mix cards, face-up cards into face-down cards. That creates chaos with your deck of cards because they're facing multiple directions. And essentially what you're going to do is be able to put them into a nice pile, make some sort of gesture, magical gesture like snapping your fingers, spread the deck, and now all cards are in complete order, and you can complete order in terms of all the backs are the same, all the faces are going the same direction. I hope that makes sense. As soon as it comes out of my mouth, it doesn't sound quite articulate. But basically, you've taken chaos and restored order with all the cards being in the appropriate direction and being able to show both sides. That's what a triumph is. All right, let's talk about what do you get. All right, well, right in here, in this deck right here, or little box, you are going to get a deck of cards. In addition to a deck of cards, you are going to get a tutorial. It's hosted on Vimeo, and it's about an hour and 19 minutes in length. Your teachers providing this tutorial on it are going to be the two who are on the box. It is Too Strange, Andost, and Danny Day Ortiz. All right, let's talk about how is the tutorial, and I am just going to tell you something I did. I broke my rule. Okay, I did it. I broke my rule. I have a rule that I never watch anybody else's review of a product before I post mine and put mine up, or before I actually do the actual review. I broke my rule this time. I happened to be watching the Wizard Magic review, and they did a review of this as well. I was pleased because at that point I had already been playing around with the deck for a while and had already formed my strong opinions about it, and I was struck that we had quite a different experience with the tutorial. I will talk about the tutorial in length a little bit later, but I just want to be upfront about broke my rule because I do not want to be influenced by anybody else. I often, after do a review, then I'll go watch some other reviews of that product to see where we have similar points of view or differing points of view. So anyway, see what the controversy is as we move forward. So how's the tutorial? I thought the tutorial was great. It is a classic Hansen Chin Productions tutorial in that you get some of it in English, you get some of it in traditional Chinese with English subtitles. I found all of the different points of it just fine, even with the translation. The translation and subtitles are actually done really well, paced just fine, and found the instruction and tutorial. I didn't have any issue with it. So, looks great as well. So, and the way it works is that it opens up with the three of them in English, Danny, Too Strange, and Andost, sort of introing it and then doing a demo of the ungimmicked version of the release, which is done by Too Strange. And then in the next second section, you get Andost, who does the gimmicked version of it. It starts off, presentation is done in English, performance is in English, and then the tutorial is in traditional Chinese with the English subtitles. And then at the end, you get Danny Day Ortiz with Andost and Too Strange, where you really get Danny, and they're speaking in English, giving Danny's giving his philosophy and theory on the triumph routine and sort of what are the beats and points that make it a more powerful effect. Probably one of my favorite parts of the whole release. All right, so that's a bit about the tutorial there. Really at the end, you get this mini lecture from Danny Day Ortiz that I really liked. I think I could spend literally all day listening to Danny Day Ortiz's thoughts on magic and what makes moments and how you build moments and how you build tension. A real genius in that area. Okay, let's talk about in this box. You're gonna get, boom, this Mermaid Ocean Back playing cards. What? What is the Mermaid Ocean Back playing cards? Let me bring it up close so you can see it. All right, here we are. This is the tuck case. Looks like a pretty standard bicycle back, except it is Hansen Chin Productions playing card company, and this is their card deck release. You'll be able to see on the back, there's the back design of the tuck case, matching, of course, the backs of the cards. You'll see the top of the tuck case. We got there the ribbon spread triumph. On the side, you're going to get the legendary finish made in Taiwan. Hansen Chin Playing Card Company. Copyright 2025, Hansen Chin Productions. And yeah, I think that's it for the tuck case. And then I'm just going to put up, there is the actual playing card back design. I'll bring that up as close as I can to the camera so you can see what it looks like Honestly, I have slipped in regular rider back into this deck and nobody notices, along with your standard traditional pips and court cards on there. So a nice deck of cards. Let's continue talking about the cards themselves. They feel great. They handle real nicely. Honestly, if you're used to using a bicycle or a nice premium stock playing cards, you're going to love these. These are great high quality cards. And I'm not just saying that. They're nice cards. I like them. I have zero issues with them. They'll last as long as any sort of standard playing cards do, good quality playing cards, based upon how much you handle them. So that's what you're getting. They are gimmicked. I will not, and when I say gimmicked, they're specially printed. There's no moving parts. There's nothing to break. They're simply the printing on these cards that makes them gimmicked. And it's a gimmick that you're probably quasi-familiar with if you've ever worked with gimmicked, meaning especially printed playing cards. All right, not much more to say about that. I'll go into the skill level. It's a beginner. Now, I do want to talk about the two different versions that you're going to be taught on this. You're going to get the gimmicked version, which is obviously the playing cards that they provide for you are gimmicked. And then you're also going to get an ungimmicked version. The ungimmicked version is taught by Too Strange. The gimmicked version is taught by Andost. The ungimmicked version is basically you can use any deck of cards, regardless of back design. It doesn't even have to be a full deck if you're borrowing somebody else's deck. And it looks beautiful. Clearly the presentation is very inspired. Too Strange came up with the presentation, but it's clearly inspired by Danny Day Ortiz's sort of chaotic style, and even Leonard Green's sort of style. It does use a move by Leonard Green that really makes it happen. And so combining, I think, the method of Leonard Green along with the sort of Danny Day Ortiz style and chaotic style really makes for a neat presentation. In that one, you know what, you can hand out the deck totally 100% at the end. There's nothing to see, there's nothing to find. It's really great visual magic where you allow the spectators to really just mix up the cards as much as they want, up, down, face up into face down cards. Doesn't matter, everybody can participate. That's a really nice aspect. The Andost version with the gimmick cards is a little more controlled in that your spectator at the end is not going to be able to touch or control the cards, but it has a simple beauty to it that nobody should at the end put heat on your cards and suspect your cards because the presentation is done so well. And it too has its own beauty and elegance, but done in just a different method because you're using gimmicked cards. When I think about these two versions, at first I really loved the ungimmicked version best, and because I love the method that's used in it. And the method that you learn, which is a Leonard Green method, is if you've never used it before, which I have not, I felt a little bit inspired by it and saw immediately how I could apply that method to other card routines or maybe create some of my own. Because basically you're able to order your deck however you want in front of your spectator without them being fully aware. So in this version, you're able to order your deck so that all cards are facing the same direction, so all the backs are the same direction as well as the faces. But you could probably separate in front of your spectator your red cards from your black cards, and without them really being aware of what's happening right in front of their face. So that's one of the things about it. As time went on, I kind of liked the gimmicked version a little bit more. I like that I could do it fast and quick in my presentation, and there's something about doing a nice fast quick presentation that I think wows your audience pretty quickly and will astonish them. Easy to learn, and so it just sort of comes down to, I think, what your preference is. If you really like doing work with gimmick cards, you'll probably like that version. If you like stuff with ungimmick cards, then you'll like the Too Strange version of it. So it really comes down to you, I think, as a performer, what your preference is with those. It's all my long-winded way to say skill level, beginner. It took me After about 30 minutes of practice with the gimmicked version, felt ready to perform it with the, the gimmicked version, about 30 minutes of practice, about an hour for the ungimmicked version before feeling comfortable with it. I could learn the method really quickly, like 10 minutes, about, if that, but then just put it into practice to get comfortable that it was, so that more muscle memory was in place when doing it, that version. I would add that there's no sleight of hand here. It's all just choreography. And the choreography is about like holding your deck and when do you turn it over this way versus this way. When you spread it, do you grab the card from the bottom or the top and move it from the bottom to the top? Those are not sleight of hand, they're just moves that seem like natural choreography in the course of the presentation. So that's about as difficult as it gets. That might be memory work for some people. I did find myself just typing out the instructions for myself in terms of first move, second move, third move, with the gimmicked version in order for me to be able to put in my practice time and do it that way. In fact, oftentimes I do that, like I will type out the instructions when there's like, I do this and then I can't remember what do I do next, and in terms of card moves specifically, I do that next, and then like, okay, then the next phase where I can't remember, then I just type it out. So I sort of have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like each stage of what the move is, and it just helps me. So anyway, beginner level. All right, let's get a little bit into what is the controversy. Or I don't know if it's controversy. This is where I sort of think like, if I were you, what would I want to know from the other side of this lens? I think at the end of the day, if you like the triumph effect and you don't do a triumph, this is one worth considering. Easy to learn, and you get two great versions, ungimmicked and gimmicked version, and you can gravitate towards whichever one you like, along with the fact that you get some great theory and psychology from Danny Day Ortiz. I think that should be probably your main takeaway. The part where I had some challenges with what I mentioned earlier with the Wizard Magic review is that they had challenges with the ungimmicked version, with the gimmicked version and the tutorial and the instructions, and that they found it confusing that he went really fast about when do you move the card this way or that way and then flip the cards and then this way and over and stuff is how they described it. That was not my experience at all. I found the pacing to be just fine. And didn't struggle with that. I definitely have other times where I have struggled with that. I found the tutorial not that challenging. Not any big controversy, and not to say, oh, I'm so much smarter than those guys over at the Wizard Magic review. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying it was not my experience. And that I found the instructions really easy to follow. And I would say that their translation or your subtitles are really good. The person who does their subtitles to English, there's no problems there. They're great and they match great with the screen. So I didn't have that sort of thing where there's a lag and reading and then looking at the screen, read and then look at the screen. I just didn't have that experience. So if you do have that experience, you can always slow it down. And so the pacing might be a little bit easier, which is nice at times, but I didn't have to do that. I thought the tutorial was better than Wizard Magic product review said. I think that's what they're called, right? All right, so at any rate, I think that's all in terms of like, when I think about like the pros and the cons. Pros and cons really come down to you like a gimmicked version or ungimmicked version. Simple as that. Easy to do. What's the cost? There's good news here, by the way, on the cost. The cost in the United States is $39.95, but Hansen Shin Productions has been very nice and gracious and have given me a discount code just for this release that I can pass on to you, and that is Johnny10. If you use Johnny10 when you're doing the checkout, you'll get an additional 10% off the cost of this deck. So currently it's listed at $39.95, and you'll get an additional 10% off. I don't get anything from it. It's just purely for you. However, that is limited time. That only lasts until June. What is there, 30 days in this month? 30 or 31 days. Up until the last day of June is that available in 2025. So if you're watching this in 2026 or 27 or 28, that code is gone. You could try, see if it works, but to the end of June of this year is when that is available. And thank you to Hansen Shin Productions for being able to provide that so I can provide it for you. All right, that's it. But here's what I want to hear from you guys. I want to know down in the comments what your favorite Triumph is. If you do a Triumph, who do you perform? Why do you like it? If you have this one, give me your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with the tutorial? Was it easy to follow or not to follow? Or maybe something I didn't mention about the release of the tutorial. Leave the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on it. Also, just say hi. I always love interacting with each and every one of you. Maybe it's my favorite part of doing these magic product reviews. All right, that's it for me, everyone. Make sure that you hit that like and that subscribe button if you haven't yet done that. I really do appreciate it. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.